In Hillham, Tennessee, we're taking you to Standing Stone State Park, located in the Cumberland Plateau. It's the home of the world-famous National Roly-Hole Marbles Championship. George Roberts, our reporter, takes you behind the scenes of this sport and the natural beauty that awaits us on this edition of Community Insider.
The first year of this tournament was 1983.
Okay.
We tried to get one in 1981. It got rained out. But it gave us a chance to regroup and build a beautiful yard here. It was built by the marble players, and we had a park ranger that knew a little bit about it. It all was put together to become just a great piece of the landscape here. And that's the way marble yards are out in this country.
30 years ago, Bobby invited me to be the first woman to play. And I had never heard of Roly-Hole.
Yeah.
And they showed me, and I said, that's a crazy game. Why don't you just put them in a circle and knock them out? They said, no, this is more challenging. I said, oh, yeah. So anyway, but I've been coming.
Community TVTN is brought to you by Security Federal Savings Bank, proudly serving the community we call home.
Grace Family Pharmacy announces new medication packaging service. It provides a simpler, safer medication experience through convenient, personalized packaging using the latest in pharmacy robotics. Our phone number is 931-473-6418.
McMinnville, you're a great place to be. McMinnville, Tennessee.
High-quality leads with prolific internet marketing and invigorating web design services that will energize your business. We are SiriusSEM. Call today or visit us at SiriusSEM.com.
Dr. Pepper. Good for life, good for the community.
Welcome to another edition of Community Insider. Join us as we travel Middle Tennessee, uncovering history and experiencing the adventure of unique stories and events coming to you inside your community.
My name's Bob Fulcher.
Okay, who do you work for?
I work for Tennessee State Parks.
Okay.
I'm with the Cumberland Trail, State Park and State Scenic Trail.
Very good. So now then, what's your place up here now, Standing Stone?
I get invited to be here at the National Roly-Hole Marble Championship because years ago I worked with this park and worked to start this event with the local marble players and the park staff that was here, and it turned out to be the right thing to do. We wound up with a bunch of great folks coming out in year one, had a big battle right here at the very yard, sitting back here, and we've never stopped. Well, COVID stopped us for a year. But
when did this start up here in the park?
The first year of this tournament was 1983.
Okay.
We tried to get one in 1981. It got rained out, but it gave us a chance to regroup and build a beautiful yard here. It was built by the marble players, and we had a park ranger that knew a little bit about it, and it all was put together to become just a great piece of the landscape here. And that's the way marble yards are out in this country, in these two big marble playing counties. You know, a marble yard is a feature that can fit into the woods. Now, there's some indoor marble yards now, but some of the most beautiful ones are just under the trees, the way this one started.
Looks like it's real natural for it.
It makes everybody feel just right.
It does. It's a really nice place up here. So now this is every year, just about the same time, right?
Yes, it's always about the same time of year,
Okay.
and it's a couple weekends after Labor Day, and the folks who play marbles, they play now all year long, but this is a culmination for many of them. They would care more about winning this tournament than maybe any other game that they might get into.
Okay, so this is the grand spectacle of all of it right here, kind of.
They could speak for themselves on that, but I do think most of them feel that way.
Okay.
This is the one where folks from all over the country do show up to see this because they hear about it one way or another, and some folks are curious enough to show up, and it gives a different feel altogether to this tournament than any other tournament that occurs that I know about.
Well, good. Well, I can tell everybody's just having a lot of fun here. I know I have. Yeah, and everybody's done a lot of good work, I can tell.
We've tried to do different things over the years. It's grown from just being a Roley Hole tournament to being a marbles festival, you know, to show a connection that Roley Hole has with a tradition that has variation all over the world. We've had people here showing off the marbles from Malaysia, marbles from Mexico, you know, through those games, from all over the place.
Yeah.
Because it's a universal thing. You've got a round stone. That's something special in itself. To have a sphere, come on, that's heavenly. That's what we've got in outer space.
It is.
And then how do you get those here on Earth?
Yeah.
You got to make them. Got to craft them. Nature makes a few spheres out there, obviously, but these have to be handcrafted. And the more perfect they are, the better folks feel about it.
Yeah, well, good, man.
Perfection goes over pretty well here.
Well, good. I know it. It's a good time, and I'm glad to see you all putting the effort into it there, buddy.
Well, there's a lot of effort that does go into it, you know, from the folks that cultivate this yard.
Yeah.
A few days ago, if you'd been out here, you've been seeing and laying new layers of dust down, wetting the yard down, clouds of new loam flowing over the top of it,
Yeah.
and then a tire or a metal truck wheel being drug across to smooth it out, to give it a perfect pool table kind of quality.
Yeah.
Out of earth.
Yeah. Put more work into it than to do a golf green.
Yes, out of just plain silt from the river,
Yeah.
from the Cumberland River. How can people be so dedicated as to create such a field of play?
Yeah.
Man, they could love it. They love the game.
Well, good. Well, I'm certainly happy for you. I know I've had a good time here today, and I like to come back.
Oh, I hope you'll be back.
Yeah.
You've
Bob,
seen a lot of good stuff.
I have today. Rangers, the staff, everybody around have just been great.
Yeah.
They have.
Thank you for being here.
I'm certainly glad. Bob, I hope to see you again. Now then, tell me your name.
Kathy Runyon Swasina,
And they call you what?
the Marble Lady.
The Marble Lady. Where do you live?
I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. Now then, you've been coming here for 30 years.
This is my 30th year this year.
Yeah, and you were the first woman to play the marble.
30
tournament.
years ago, Bobby invited me to be the first woman to play. And I had never heard of Roley Hole.
Yeah.
And they showed me, and I said, that's a crazy game. Why don't you just put them in a circle and knock them out? They said, no, this is more challenging. I said, yeah. So anyway, but I've been coming since.
Okay, so now then, you started then, and it made an itch that won't go away.
I've been playing since my four brothers said I couldn't play. Girls couldn't play when I was about 8 years old.
Okay, but the Roley Hole thing.
The Roley Hole, yes.
That really.
Yeah, it grabbed my heart because there were so many good people here, and to see them so involved with
Oh, yeah.
marbles.
Yeah. See, I can see you down there about how much fun you were having when I caught you a while ago. So I said, yep, I got to have her. So now then, the marble like this has been going on for a long time.
They started in '83, I believe.
Okay, but now I'm talking about
But
marbles.
marbles generally
way back.
goes back to Roman times.
Yeah.
That's the earliest findings. The young boys played marbles from the marble stone,
Uh-huh.
and their dads were practicing for the Olympics or whatever while they played
okay.
marbles.
So now then, when did the roly-hole thing catch on here in the country?
Well, they had, the first game was, I believe, 1983
Okay,
here. And then they started, everyone started practicing. They
Uh-huh.
have places at their houses in
Yeah.
their backyards
Yeah.
to play at and
Yeah.
practice, and they play year-round in some
Well,
of
now, weren't marbles, instead of like that we know as tournaments now, weren't that going on like in the 30s or something like
Yes,
that?
there were national marble tournaments that were held throughout the nation,
Mhm.
and they'd get great prizes like a brand new bike, one of the rodeo bikes, or the really cool flyer bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And they would get big trophies, and that started, I believe, almost in the early 20s, if not the 18 or 19.
Now, they were making their flint shooters back then,
They were
too.
making flint shooters.
Now, did I hear the tale right that they would chisel off a piece of flint kind of round and put it in a hole in a rock in a stream and let that water wash it around and around?
They could do that, but it would take a long
A
time.
long time, right.
The Native Americans did that.
Okay,
They did that with their stones.
okay.
And so that was one way, but mostly they would just grind it.
Yeah, this fellow over here.
If you want to know if a marble's been ground,
Yeah.
you just put it in the light, and because there's little tiny flat spots all over it, the light will jiggle.
Jiggle, okay. Like facets?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Now, they use the flint because they'll break the glass.
Yes.
Okay. How about that?
And most people, they tag no steelies.
Oh,
If somebody tags steelies, then everyone's like, ah.
uh-huh.
There goes, and they won't play their good marbles. They'll just play their crummiest marbles
So
because they're going to get
they'll
shattered.
broke here. Now, you were looking over the marble find game a minute ago?
The marble hunt?
Hunt, okay.
Yes, we throw out throughout the day about almost 300 pounds of marbles. And we scatter them around. The scouts were helping today for
Yeah.
their service.
Yeah.
And I have special prize marbles that
Mm-hmm.
are included. And when I say go, the kids go, and you see them all come out with bagfuls.
Bagfuls.
They
Well,
get their 50 cents worth. Yes.
I have a prize marble.
You do have a prize marble. And it's very beautiful.
It is. Here, let's take a look.
Okay.
Go right there. Show that to everybody.
Okay.
See the handmade
Okay. This
marble?
is a handmade glass marble. This one came from a friend in Thailand.
Yeah, that's so neat. Yeah. So
Wrapped to protect.
now, yes, it will not come out of the package.
No, you can take it out now. When I had them shipped,
Oh,
I had them
okay.
wrap them
Okay,
so they
well,
wouldn't
neat.
juggle around
Yeah.
and chip.
Okay, now then, this is a one-day event, right?
This is a one-day event. I always come up a day early or so
Make a trip.
and just enjoy myself.
So every September usually?
Every September.
About the same
One
time.
year during COVID, they didn't have it, so I didn't
Yeah.
come. Nobody
Yeah.
came. But the other 29 years I've been there.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to get here for several years, so this is my
Glad
first-
to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too. I've enjoyed it very much. So, Kathy, Miss Marble Woman, you've got to tell me one more story.
One more story.
One more story. Charles Schultz.
Oh, Charles Schultz. So I had printed a small booklet on marble games because there were no books out there. And he had gotten one, and he wrote me this beautiful letter, and he said, I hadn't thought about marbles for decades. He said, but I used to be a marble fanatic when I was a young boy. And he said, watch for this upcoming comic strip. And it was a 9-day series, and I've got it saved. It's at the museum.
Yeah.
And this little stranger kid came into town, and he fudged and he cheated, and he won everyone's marbles illegally. And so they all went crying to Charlie, and they said he cheated, he stole our marbles. And Charlie said, step back. And for the only time, and he challenged him for a game for all the marbles, and for the only time in his whole lifetime, Charlie Brown was allowed to win. And so I loved it.
Well, Charlie Brown finally won.
He won.
He
He
did.
won.
Kathy, it's been so much fun talking to you.
You too, George.
I will see you later.
Okay,
Bye,
thanks.
sweetie.
Edges, then I move over to the diamond grinder. And when I get to the diamond grinder, I smooth them out more, get a little bit more round. Then I'll come up here and finish getting them close. And then I'll spin them. And this is just take a grindstone just like that. Probably had one right there. But then I start just a little hole in it. I set that marble in, spin it against that rubber roller. And as it spins, it cuts it true, it cuts it round. And then I'll measure with the digital calipers to get it, precise. And just back and forth between spinning and
I'm Park Ranger Jonathan Williams here at Standing Stone State Park.
Okay, how long have you been?
I have actually started my career here as a SIR, so Seasonal Interpretive Ranger, back in 2013. And after working at Fall Creek Falls and getting full-time on at Burgess Falls, I transferred back here back in 2020.
Okay, very good. You like the park?
I love the park.
Yeah, everybody here sings too.
Absolutely.
It's been a pretty good place.
It is.
So you got the lake down here.
We do.
Now then, I don't think we can see the dam, but a little clip. How was that dam in the lake? How did it come about? What happened?
So this park was created in the 1930s by the WPA, the Works Progress Administration.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a New Deal project from FDR, and a lot of the local folks here, it was just their way to make a living, make a dollar, send it back home. And so they done a big project here along with the Resettlement Administration as well. A lot of the land here used to be owned obviously by private folks. Mm-hmm. They moved off, and when the WPA started their work, they built the cabins, they built the dam, they built some of the trails. Essentially everything that's rustic here in the park, they built.
So the cabins, most of those are still original from the 30s.
Yes, that is correct. If you check out any of the rustic cabins, those were built in the 1930s, and a lot of the wood inside those cabins actually are American chestnut, which was also, the timber was cut here in the park.
In the park?
Yes.
Yeah. Then the blight hit, and then it all went away.
Now, all of this mostly was, I believe, after the blight anyway, or it was around that time.
Okay, all right. So this was left over probably.
Yes, some of it was. And we have several cabins that was from the WPA still standing, that is still used.
Yeah.
And a lot of them did just recently get renovated.
Yeah, but they're still trying to keep them in the old rustic style.
That is correct.
Man, that's great. All right, how big is the park?
So the park here is roughly about 1,000 acres. Now it's surrounded by about 10 to 11,000 acres of forestry.
That's Tennessee, is it Tennessee State Forest?
Yes, Standing Stone State Forest is the technical name.
Okay, great. All right, Highway 136 runs through the middle of it up to Hillman.
So it runs up to Hillham. So technically the park address here is Hillham. Yeah. Now, if you talk to some of the old locals here, technically the park is in Timothy, but Timothy technically no longer exists anymore.
Was that at the intersection of 52?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, great. Well, it looks like activities are winding down for today. Is that right? Have you had a good day today?
Oh, I know I had a good day. I know we had a lot of good folks here today, and it seemed like a lot of people really enjoyed their stay here.
Well, does the park stay busy most of the year?
It does. Okay. It does. We stay busy, and especially on weekends, we're very busy. And during holiday weekends as well, but anymore during fall break, we stay busy then too.
Fall time, the colors come out nice up here.
That is correct.
I've been up here and took pictures around the lake itself, and it's really nice down there.
That is correct. Yeah. It gets very colorful here, and it gets busy during the fall.
Well, it's a small park, but it has a lot to offer, I found.
It does. So not only do we have the National Rolly Hoe Tournament, like what's going on today, we also have the car show coming up on October 8th of this year. And every spring we have the Nature Rally. And during the summer months we have weekly activities for all the guests, and also we do have the swimming pool here.
Yep, very good. Well, I hope to see you again. Our time is just about up.
All your local programs is home to you. Community Network Productions invites you to check out our website. That's communitytvtn, all one word.com. Also, we're on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel on your smart TV or any mobile device, or simply just Facebook and Instagram. We'd also like to hear from you with show ideas, or if you got a question about a show. Email us at communitytvtn@gmail.com.